There's a bottle sitting in most medicine cabinets in this country that can replace nearly every cleaning product under your kitchen sink, and it costs about $1. That brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide, the same one your grandmother poured on a scraped knee before anyone told her to stop, is one of the most useful household cleaners there is. It kills bacteria, breaks down mold, lifts stains out of fabric without wrecking the fabric, and disinfects surfaces without leaving anything behind. When it's finished working, it breaks down into exactly two things: water and oxygen. No chemical film on your counters, no fumes, nothing for a curious toddler to get into if they touch the wrong surface. Meanwhile, the average household spends a real chunk of money every year on cleaning products full of ingredients most folks couldn't pronounce if you asked them to, most of which they'd never want anywhere near their food or their kids if they really thought about it. Your grandmother didn't need 17 different sprays lined up under the sink like some kind of chemical arsenal. She needed one bottle and a bit of know-how that never quite got passed down to the rest of us. Let's start in the kitchen because that's where the stakes are highest and the payoff shows up fastest. Your cutting board, the one you used for raw chicken on Sunday and then wiped down with a damp sponge and a squirt of dish soap, is almost certainly still hosting bacteria you can't see, smell, or taste. Soap handles grease and loose food particles well enough, but it doesn't reliably kill what's settled into the grooves and scratches of a well-used board, especially a porous wooden one. Peroxide does. Pour it directly onto the board after your normal wash, let it sit until you see it fizz, then rinse with clean water. That fizzing is oxygen being released as the peroxide breaks apart whatever's clinging to the surface, and it matters most right after cutting raw meat or poultry where the risk is highest. That same bottle covers your countertops, the inside of the fridge, the door gasket where condensation breeds bacteria in that dark, damp seal, the greasy inside of the microwave, sink basins, faucet handles, cabinet pulls, and the outside of your appliances. Combine it with water in a dark spray bottle, since light breaks peroxide down over time. And you've got a real working disinfectant without the smell of a chemical cleaner following you room to room. One bottle just replaced your counter spray, your board sanitizer, your appliance cleaner, and your fridge deodorizer. And unlike chlorine bleach, which can't properly disinfect a dirty surface on its own since it has nothing in it to cut through grease, peroxide cleans and disinfects in one step because it breaks down organic matter on contact. Most people spray bleach straight onto a greasy counter and assume the job's done, when really they've just spread a chemical film over whatever was already sitting there underneath. That's the part that got me. I'd been spraying bleach on a dirty counter for years, thinking I was disinfecting it, when I was really just moving the mess around and calling it clean. Now the bathroom, which is usually where people reach for the heaviest chemicals they own, bleach, ammonia sprays, anything with a warning label that reads like fine print on medication. Bleach is a real disinfectant. Nobody's arguing otherwise, but it has one blind spot that matters a great deal in a bathroom: mold. Bleach works fine on glass and glazed tile, but grout is porous, so is silicone caulk, so is the wood behind your vanity. Spray bleach on moldy grout, and the chlorine kills what's sitting on the surface and whitens the stain so it looks clean. But the chlorine molecule is too large to get down into the porous material where the mold's actual root structure is still alive and spreading. Give it a couple weeks and the same spot comes back in the exact same place, because you only ever treated what you could see, not what was actually causing it. Hydrogen peroxide's molecule is smaller and lighter, and it can work its way slightly deeper into porous grout and caulk than bleach ever will, reaching more of the mold that's actually still growing rather than just the surface stain. Spray it undiluted directly onto moldy grout or caulk, let it sit undisturbed for 10 to 15 minutes, and you'll see the same fizzing as the oxygen goes to work underneath. Scrub with a stiff brush and wipe clean, and this time the spot tends to actually stay gone instead of creeping back a few weeks later. For grout that's been building up for months or years, combine it with baking soda into a thick paste, work it into the lines, let it sit, then scrub. The baking soda loosens the grime while the peroxide handles the actual killing underneath. Your toilet bowl gets the same treatment, pour it in, let it sit a good while, scrub and flush. No harsh fumes, no gloves, and no risk of accidentally mixing something dangerous with whatever cleaner's already sitting in the bowl from last week. Your kitchen sponge, which touches more bacteria-laden surfaces than almost anything else in the house, benefits from a quick peroxide soak too. Rinse it out after and you've knocked back the vast majority of what was quietly building up inside it. The laundry room is where the cleaning aisle has really gotten one over on people. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Walk down the detergent aisle and count how many products lean on hydrogen peroxide as their actual working ingredient, dressed up in bright packaging built to make you forget that fact entirely. Oxygen bleach, those oxy boosters and stain-lifting crystals, turn the box around and read the fine print. Most of them list sodium percarbonate as the active ingredient, which is nothing more than hydrogen peroxide bonded to washing soda in a dry, stable powder form. Drop it in water and it breaks apart right back into peroxide and washing soda. That's the entire trick behind those products: the fizzing, the stain lifting, the brightening. All of it is the peroxide doing the work, just dressed up and marked up. You've likely been buying hydrogen peroxide in a decorated box with a brand name on it for years without ever putting the pieces together. I about laughed out loud the first time I actually read the back of one of those boxes and saw it printed right there in plain ingredients. Here's what a plain bottle can do in your laundry room without any of the repackaging or markup. Add some directly to your machine's bleach compartment along with your regular detergent, and it'll brighten whites without the yellowing that chlorine causes with repeated use and without thinning out the fabric the way chlorine does over months of washing. For a stubborn individual stain, whether it's blood, wine, grass, coffee, or sweat, combine hydrogen peroxide with a little dish soap and apply it directly to the spot. Let it sit a while, then wash as usual. Bloodstains in particular respond almost instantly, since peroxide reacts directly with the iron in hemoglobin, and a fresh stain can vanish in seconds. No lingering residue and nothing released into the air of your laundry room. Worth remembering the next time you're standing in front of a pricey bottle of specialty stain remover whose main ingredient is, once again, the same repackaged compound sitting in your cabinet already. Here's one most people have never thought to try. Add a bit of hydrogen peroxide to a large bowl or sink of cold water and submerge your fruits and vegetables for a couple minutes before rinsing thoroughly. It works as both an antimicrobial rinse and a mild oxidizer that helps loosen residue from the skin of the produce that plain water tends to leave behind. Hydrogen peroxide is approved for use in organic crop production as a sanitizer, which says something about how comfortable people are letting it touch food. As a bonus, produce washed this way, berries especially, often lasts a bit longer in the fridge since you've knocked back some of the bacteria and mold spores that cause early spoilage. Now, the garden, since hydrogen peroxide has a role out there too that almost nobody brings up. If you've ever lost a plant to root rot, and nearly every gardener has, you know the frustration of watching something die slowly with no obvious cause. By the time the leaves yellow and go limp above the soil, the roots below are usually already a brown, mushy mess. Peroxide attacks this from two directions at once. Its oxidizing action damages the fungi responsible for the rot, and as it breaks down in the soil, it releases oxygen straight into a root zone that's been suffocating. A light peroxide and water drenched through the soil, repeated weekly, can bring a struggling plant back before it's too far gone, though you'll want to let the top couple inches of soil dry out between treatments rather than watering on the same old schedule that got the plant into trouble to begin with. Worth being honest though, peroxide is an indiscriminate oxidizer. It doesn't tell beneficial soil microbes from harmful fungi, so this is a rescue treatment for a sick plant, not something to pour on healthy soil out of habit. Funny enough, plain rainwater carries a trace of natural hydrogen peroxide in it, picked up high in the atmosphere. It's part of why your plants perk up so much more after a good rainstorm than after a watering can full of tap water. Here's a use that sounds strange for about 5 seconds and then makes complete sense. Your mattress. You spend roughly a third of your life lying on it, and over that time, your body sheds skin cells, oils, and sweat straight into the fabric and padding, which is exactly what dust mites feed on. You obviously can't run a mattress through the wash, but you can mist the surface lightly with undiluted peroxide from a dark spray bottle and let it air dry completely in a well-ventilated room before making the bed. It knocks back dust mites on contact and helps break down the allergenic residue they leave behind, along with any odor from accumulated sweat, without adding any fragrance of its own to cover things up. Do this whenever you flip or rotate your mattress, roughly every few months, and the same light misting works just as well on pillows, couch cushions, and any upholstered chair that sees daily use. While we're on the subject of things everybody touches without thinking about it, light switches, doorknobs, remote controls, and the buttons on your microwave and coffee maker collect more grime and bacteria than most surfaces in the house, simply because hands touch them all day long between washings. A cloth, dampened with a peroxide and water mix, wiped across those spots once a week, handles what a dust rag never will, and it evaporates fast enough that you're not left with a damp switch plate. If you've got grandchildren visiting, the same approach works nicely for rinsing off plastic and rubber toys. A quick soak in diluted peroxide, a rinse, and an air dry. No chemical residue left behind for little hands to put in little mouths. And if you run a humidifier through the winter, that tank develops a slimy film faster than most people realize. A weekly peroxide rinse handles that without leaving behind anything you'd rather not be breathing. One more spot most people never think to treat: the trash can and the recycling bin. That lingering smell coming from an empty can isn't just old food. It's bacteria multiplying in whatever residue is stuck to the sides, especially once the weather warms up. Empty the bin, spray the whole interior with peroxide, and let it sit for 10 minutes or so before rinsing. It breaks down the odor at the source instead of just covering it up with a scented bag, and the same treatment works well on the inside of a diaper pail or a gym bag that started to hold on to a smell. No amount of airing out seems to fix. A quick word on safety before we wrap up, since it's worth repeating every time this bottle comes up. Stick with the plain 3% strength sold at any drugstore. Never a stronger industrial-grade version. That's a different product entirely, and it's genuinely hazardous. Never combine peroxide with bleach or with ammonia-based cleaners. That combination produces dangerous fumes. No exceptions. And keep it in that original dark bottle, out of the sun, the same way your grandmother did, without ever needing a label to tell her why. Here's maybe the most practical detail in this whole video, and it's the one people get wrong most often. That dark brown bottle isn't a branding choice. It's there because hydrogen peroxide breaks down when it's exposed to light, especially sunlight. Keep it in an opaque bottle, store it in a cool, dark cabinet, and pay attention to how long you've had it, because even stored properly, it slowly loses strength over time. A simple way to check if an older bottle is still any good: pour a small amount into the sink. If it fizzes right away on contact with the porcelain, it's still working. If it just sits there like plain water, it's time for a new bottle. And that's $1 well spent compared to cleaning with something that stopped doing anything at all. We covered the kitchen, the bathroom, the laundry room, the garden, the bedroom, and everything in between. And the same dollar bottle kept showing up as the answer every single time. The modern cleaning aisle would like you to believe you need a different specialty product for every room and every stain, a spray for the counter, a separate one for the bathroom, another for the laundry, and one more for the garden shed. Your grandmother knew better than that with one plain bottle and a bit of know-how, and now you do too. Tell me in the comments which one of these you're trying first, and if there's a room in the house you think I missed, drop it below and I'll cover it next time. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, unlike everything else on that shelf.